The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help, just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And a good hump day morning to you, one and all. Welcome to Wednesday, middle of the week for most of us. Here it is, August number 16 in the year of our Lord 2017. Call-in number this morning is 603-835-3226. Got a lot on our plate this morning. As well as the Intel report, which promises to be a barn burner, a page turner, if you will, this morning in the second hour. People are, I'm beside myself with this whole nonsense about Trump being a racist. There's a hashtag on Twitter this morning, and I sometimes like to be a little shit, an instigator, and I often, well, not I wouldn't say often, but when I see an interesting hashtag similar to this, I tend to gravitate to the hashtag just to read what people are saying, and then I like to poke the bear, as it were. Now, the interesting thing is that I don't really, I do make fun of people, but I do it in such a way where I bring in facts. I know the left doesn't like that word. It's a four-letter word to them, F-A-C-T. They'd rather use the F-C-U-K word. And yeah, I know what I did there. That's the F word that they like to use, but instead of F-A-C-T. And I often find it hilarious that when they spew out stuff, and what they spew out tends to be not truthful, especially now. It tends to be not truthful about Donald Trump, but it tends to be truthful about previous Democrat presidents. One or the other of the last two, or in more likelihood, because of this whole Russian collusion thing, the facts that they're accusing Donald Trump of are usually the facts surrounding Hillary Clinton. Now, I find it interesting. Now, this latest hashtag is hashtag why we must impeach Trump in 7 words. And just about every single one of these that are worth reading, that lists the seven words, or they're given 7 words, their reasoning for impeaching Trump, is the exact reason why you why Hillary Clinton wasn't elected, and if she was, why she would be impeached. Especially this Russian collusion thing. And now we've got this whole thing about, the Russians contacted Trump back in the Trump campaign back in March of 16, and they refused, citing, the Logan Act, among other things, of why they couldn't and shouldn't and didn't. But we have other emails that we can gather that she didn't destroy yet that show that Clinton campaign was in constant contact with the Ruskies in some form or another. Now look, I am not accusing the Clinton campaign of being colluding with the Russians to change the election. They didn't need the Russians, actually. They had the DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, which is why she resigned. Or did you liberals forget that? She and Hillary colluded to steal the nomination from Bernie Sanders. That's written down. That's written. There is no disputing or denying it. It's why she lost her job. And yet we're gonna transfer this guilt somehow to Donald Trump, and this whole racist notion. Oh yeah, he's a Nazi lover and KKK friend. Like, we're not talking about Bill Clinton here. Yeah, I realize this was some 20 years ago. But does anybody remember when Bill, well, it wasn't even 20 years. How long? It wasn't even 20 years ago. 10 years ago, or 7 years ago, right? 2010 is when Robert Byrd passed away. How many people Bill Clinton getting up there and making an apology for Robert Byrd being a grand Cyclops KKK member and recruiter? And he had been one since, the 1950s. He had to do that back then in order to get elected, get done what he wanted to get done. Robert Byrd, I don't ever recall Robert Byrd ever denouncing his time with the KKK. He spent a lifetime ever since then repudiating and apologizing. I don't ever remember hearing Robert Byrd ever really fully apologizing for being a grand KKK Cyclops, or whatever the hell they call them, and recruiter. He was known to have recruited over 150 new members to the KKK during his tenure. Did he apologize for that? I don't think so. So Donald Trump disavows. I don't know how many umpteen times David Duke. And in this hashtag, why we must impeach Trump in 7 words, these fools keep mentioning David Duke. This is nonsensical. Which is why I actually started using the hashtag liberal chauvinism, because we need to put all this crap into now understand the hashtag. Twitter isn't going to let that hashtag go anywhere. I fully believe that they're not going to let that hashtag go anywhere, which is too bad. Because, I don't see anybody trying to disavow Robert Byrd. I mean, how much crap down there in the South is named after Robert Byrd? Robert Byrd schools, Robert Byrd highways, Robert Byrd roads, Robert Byrd buildings, Robert Byrd this, everything's Robert Byrd down there. I don't see any Black Lives Matter leading a march to tear down anything that represents remembering Robert Byrd. I don't see any of them marching on that. Yeah, I mean, this is just absolutely nonsensical. And of course, we got some stuff here about. We know that the Lincoln Monument was tagged yesterday, vandalized. Now, last I checked, I know maybe they're trying to rewrite the history books as far as Lincoln is concerned too, but last I checked, even the left still believes that Lincoln freed the slaves. Right? So why now are we vandalizing Lincoln? Oh, because it's some alt-righter, Rod. That's why. He did it, I bet. Just I love how they've repositioned Nazis in this country. For decades, Nazis have been a part of the left. And now, since this past weekend, Nazism really is the alt-right. So are they saying that the alt-right is now part of the left? So does that mean that people what's his name from Arizona? The man who shall not be named. Is he alt-right? Is that what the alternate right is? Is there actually a bunch of leftists? Oh, maybe we should ask Senator Snow or Murkowski. Is that what the alt-right? I think I've hit on something. That is really the alt. The alt-right aren't those who are on the extreme right. Like libertarians or something like that, or overly constitutionalists that think that the Constitution doesn't say what it says, or they think it says what it doesn't say, that government, we shouldn't have standing armies and things like that. I mean that's what I assumed the alt-right was at first, but now that I'm seeing that these people are calling Nazis and skinheads and KKK alt-right, I'm starting to put two and two together and believe they may be onto something here. Believe it or not, the left may be onto something. That moderates in the Republican Party are the alt-right. They're actually Democrats. They're actually liberals. But the Democratic Liberal Party has moved so far to the left that it's left them behind. They can't picture themselves being that far left. But, I digress, because Nazism is somewhere between socialism and communism on the scale of leftism. So there's no possible way that Nazis could ever be on the right. But again, we have, this is fact. Look it up, folks. I am not making this stuff up. I don't need to make this stuff. The best part about this program, I don't need to make anything up. Because there's too much truth out there. And it is too plentiful. There's a plethora of it. I will never, ever have to make it up. Because I don't have enough time in every show to go through all of it every day. I could do this show for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and still not run out of material from the left. So nothing needs to be made up, but they sure as hell make up a lot, because they know that they're a bunch of liars, bunch of pansies, bunch of pissants. They're a bunch of liberal chauvinists. They think they're superior. Maybe there's another term. Maybe we shouldn't call them chauvinists, but liberal chauvinists, because there's nothing superior about them. Shall I say this? They're inferior in thought, inferior in logic, inferior in facts, inferior in documentation. They have nothing on their side except feelings, but feelings do not replace facts. Every single, I could go down this whole why we must impeach Trump in 7 words shtick here on Twitter and just read tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet about why they shouldn't even be friends with Democrats. Because they're describing Democrats to a T And it is so obvious. I just cannot fathom how somebody could be so damn blind as they cannot see that. Yeah, well, I guess that's partly why I'm here. So point all that stuff out.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shea brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
(603-835-3226). That is the number to call should you wish to join me here on the Rod Eccles Show. And the show is named after me. Just in case, you're a liberal tuning in and you didn't know who the show is named after. It's named after me. Just thought I'd mention that. Today, let's look at some of the holidays for today. Holidays for Wednesday, August 16th. Today is National Bratwurst Day. It's a day dedicated to bratwursts. Some of you may know them simply as brats or brats. So today is National Bratwurst. I've never really been a fan of bratwurst. I mean, I know you go to the New York State Fair and that's part of the fair food, but I've never really been a fan of brats. I don't hate them. I just prefer not to eat them. But some people love brats. So it's obviously, so now there's a National Bratwurst Day, and that's today. Today is also National Roller Coaster Day. Now, I could get into that. ride a bunch of roller coasters all over the place. I wonder if you get any cheap rides, or if you get reduced fares to places that have really good roller coasters. Like at any Six Flags or Darien Lake or such. So today is National Roller Coaster Day. Today is also National Tell a Joke Day. I don't have any good jokes to tell, at least not clean enough to tell on the air. Today is also True Love Forever Day. For all of you old people out there who still are in love with their first love, today is also National Rum Day. National Rum Day. Are you well, go out and drink some rum. It's also National Airborne Day. Now, National Airborne Day honors the nation's airborne forces. Now, it was traditionally first started on August 14th in 2002 by George W. Bush issuing a proclamation, and then for some reason it got switched to August 16th. So we celebrate our National Airborne, Airbornist, that's what we call them, National Medical Dosimetrist Day. I've never seen that word before. Dosimetrist Day. It's a medical term, and it's celebrated on the third Wednesday of August, and is designed as a day for celebrating medical dosimetry. These professionals around the world, and their profession, honoring their contributions. I still don't know what a dosimetrist is. Dosimetry. But it has to do with the brain. There's a whole, if you want to know what it is, look it up. There's this whole spiel on trying to explain what it is. But it has to do with the brain, the head, as it were. So there you have it. Today's holidays. I'm looking at some of these new hashtag tweets over there on Twitter. It's just, you should really go over there. After the program is done, hashtag why we must impeach Trump in 7 words. You will get a good laugh. Well, some of you might be infuriated. So if you're quick to be infuriated, then you probably wouldn't want to do that. But let's take a quick call here before we head into the break. 731. Oh my goodness! How you doing, darling?
Hey. Oh,
good
listen.
Morning.
I can't go over to that hashtag because then I would have to have a rum for breakfast. But bratwurst, you are missing something. That's a good Southern tradition, and those are very good. You just have to have them done properly, and they actually marinate them in beer. That's the secret.
Yes, beer bratwurst, yes. I don't dislike them. I just prefer not to eat them.
Well, they're messy. They're not attractive.
No, they're not.
What you'd eat on the first date or something, but they're really good. When you've been married many years like I have, it's a good thing. I had to turn on, I have to kind of, for National Joke Day, I have to start out with the media, turning on Matt Lauer this morning. And because I always have to see what they're up to because they're always up to something. And, it's laughable. It really is, Rod. It's laughable to see them attach Trump to their planned communist, let's have a Charlottesville riot. I mean, honestly, come on. He had Tom Brokaw, who I can't believe is still breathing, saying how Trump supports the Nazis. And in so many words, he was calling Trump supporters Nazis. Now listen to me.
Well, that's the whole point. Right? They again, they're trying to obfuscate the fact that they're the ones where all that hatred is fomented. That's the side they're on the side that all that hatred is fomented. It's not Trump's side. But to be fair to you, can you hold on through the break? I really want to get into you. Get in with okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will hold on.
Okay, isn't there a psychiatric term for this? Transference?
Yeah.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
Welcome back, 603-835-3226. That is a number to call should you wish to join yours truly here on yours truly's radio program. Is that how you say it? Yours is truly. I sound like I'm from New York City. Hey, yo, yous guys, I'm from Brooklyn now. That's anyway, let's get back to our caller. One of the things that was quite interesting is I got a story here from Newsbusters talking about the networks and their news coverage last night. Now, folks, now listen to this. This is beyond unheard of. But over 77% of their total national news broadcast time was spent on the Trump presser. At CBS Evening News, their entire 21 minutes of actual news coverage, because that's about as much as they have because the rest is commercials. I know it's awful to think about. Wait, it's a 30-minute program, right? And yeah, you got 9 minutes of commercials. I guess I don't feel so bad by having commercials on this program. I don't think I have that many. But anyway, 21 minutes dedicated to actually spouting the news. On the CBS Evening News yesterday, all 21 minutes was dedicated to reporting on Trump and this Trump presser as it relates to the Charlottesville, Virginia rioting and his response to it. All of their airtime. I guess there were no other stories out there to report on. All of their airtime was dedicated to really taking apart. Oh, well, Trump didn't disavow. Okay, he did disavow, but he didn't do it fast enough. Well, okay, maybe he did it fast enough, but he didn't do it in the right way. He didn't say the right words. Oh, now he said the right words. Oh, that's good for him, but he doesn't mean it. I mean, the man can't win. This is redonkulous. I don't know why anybody watches the network. Do you watch the network news?
No.
Yeah, I don't. I don't. I mean, this is the reason why. They're sycophants for if you're on their side, they're sycophants for you. They loved Obama, even when they knew Obama was wrong, and even when they knew and had proof that Obama was lying, they still loved Obama. And it doesn't matter what Trump does or says. Trump could tell the truth, be proven 150% that he's telling the truth, or that he does things exactly the way they want him to do it and say it the way they want him to say it, and they're still going to denigrate him. I can't deal with that crap. And this is just absolutely, it's amazing. So I know that you were going to bring up something like that as well.
Yeah. I can tell you this. This is what I see these news press conferences as. It's like a bunch of first graders screaming out the answers to a question that the teacher asked. They do it all at once. And regardless of the response, the kids ignore her response and just keep asking questions that don't even pertain. I mean, it's laughable. It is really laughable. And they say they spent 21 minutes talking about the Charlottesville rioting. They are actually trying to distract the public from knowing what's really going on, and that's the bottom line. Look at the footage of them tearing down these monuments that have been up for how many years? You can't tell me. Most of these snowflakes don't even know what the monument. if you tried to ask them what they stood for, that woman that climbed that ladder didn't anymore know anything about Robert E. Lee than I know about Katie Kirk's breakfast. I mean, they don't even know. They're just following instructions. And what's the scary part to me is that this country, if you look at nothing but what they're filming and showing over and over and over so that they can desensitize the public, we're going to look just like Venezuela. That's the scary part.
Well, I think the main reason that they're upset with Trump now is because he said that there is hate on both sides. On the left. Yeah, on both sides. No, you can't say the left. But he called out the left. But you know what? Do you notice that this morning I didn't hear Black Lives Matter or that Antifa, whatever the hell it is? I didn't hear that come out of their mouth one time. I didn't hear that come out of their mouth. And why is that? I mean, you know, to me, the white supremacist crap is garbage. I mean, I think we moved past that a long time ago. I think these people are created by the communist left, if you want to know the truth. I think there may have been a small few that were there because somebody probably fought in that war and they see it as the history being wiped away. I don't know that, but that's how it seems. But this all seems constructed. It's kind of like I can see a playbook in the media's office and saying, okay, check, we've done this. Oh, my goodness, there's some news coming to light. Oh, we've got to divert and we've got to cause something to happen so that we can get it back on Trump. The man, you know, I said it before, if I were him, America, you'd be in damn trouble because I'd throw my hands up and tell all of you to take a hike. You know, I have this. Get on my yacht. I have this here talking about. There's a couple of stories that talking about the rise of hate groups in America today, and the feds are tracking this. So yeah, right, they're tracking the rise of hate groups.
Yeah.
But one of the things is that they talk about the Nazis, the neo-Nazis, and the KKK in this country. Now, what they fail to tell you is that membership in these alt-left groups is actually way down. Now, at the height of the KKK, it was estimated that they had 100,000 members. They now have less than 5,000 members across this country. We're talking the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, so 3,000. Yep. They're a nothing group of people anymore, simply because this country has done a very good job of erasing, hatred based on race or religious beliefs. But they bring this stuff up and try to plaster it on the left, but on us on the right. But here's the astonishing fact: the fastest rising groups in this country right now are on the left. That is Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They have more members than the KKK does at the moment. They have more members than neo-Nazis, and they have more members than the KKK, neo-Nazis, and skinheads combined. And they have caused more, believe it or not, they have caused, now other than the KKK who used to lynch black people, so we got that, but other than that, people do not, and the news isn't reporting this, but these alt-left hate groups I'm going to call a spade a spade. They're alt-left hate groups. Black Lives Matter and Antifa have caused more bodily harm and property damage than any of those other groups in history combined. And they've only been around a few years. They've completely destroyed downtowns in certain districts and cities. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Look at Chicago. Look at Seattle. Look at all these big cities, and notice that they're large populations of Democrats. The Democrats have used this race card until you can't even see the face anymore. I mean, if you look at Black Lives Matter, because I ran into them at the inauguration, there's half of them are white. I don't even know what the deal is. I think that, I believe that these people, I know they are. I mean, you can look on the where is it you go and buy stuff online or Amazon. They advertise for them, to pay $15 an hour or $1,500 a weekend on Craigslist. I saw that with my own eyes.
They the Hillary Clinton Foundation, well, not the Clinton Foundation, let me get it accurate. Hillary Clinton's campaign, her presidential campaign, has donated some $800,000 to these types of groups to pay people to be antagonists. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I'm sick of them. I think the media is a disgrace in America. The mainstream media is a disgrace. There's nothing but propaganda. I have to watch it so I know what to talk about. And I know what they're up to. But I'm here to tell you right now, they're not going to win this battle. All listening, they're not going to win this battle. We're not going to give this up. And because this is our constitutional right. And you know what these leftist snowflakes don't realize? They think, the Constitution, it needs to be changed. Well, let me tell you, the Constitution can be your best friend. It's like the law. We live by laws so that we have order. So we have law and order and not chaos. And there is a reason for that. And you may need that constitutional right one day after you've pissed all over it. You may wish you had that back. But they don't look to that because they think they're on the powerful side. Well, let me tell you something. God's the only power. And I don't much believe that they are looking to our God for any kind of advice because they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. One day they're going to need that Constitution, and they better pull it out and read it and realize what the Bill of Rights are and what our natural rights are that we have. YouTube and Google, they're going to sue the dog out of them, and I hope they get a gazillion dollars because that our First Amendment right is God gave us that, and they can't take it from us. And they can try, but people are going to fight over that. And not fight with guns, but we're going to fight putting our voice out to our leaders and let them know. And that's my soapbox of the day.
Well, they don't fully, well, according to Black Lives, one of the Black Lives Matter founders, white supremacist, as they define a white supremacist, doesn't have a First Amendment free speech right. Now, I don't know where they read that in the Constitution, but according to her, white supremacists don't.
According to them, you're a white supremacist. You're a white supremacist. Now, you go figure that. So, Diamond and Silk are white supremacists.
Yeah.
Terrence Williams is a white supremacist. Now, I don't know how that's going to go over in court. I don't know. I mean, maybe you're not black enough. Is that what they said on CNN?
Sure, that's what they say. You know what? I don't think I'm a supremacist or a supreme in any way. I don't even like supreme pizza. So,
that might be the quote of the day. I like cheese pizza. I just like plain cheese pizza.
All right, darling, I got to run. Got to hit this next break.
Okay, they're losing. They're losing, and we're winning. You remember that.
I will definitely try. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
I got a story here. the reason is that we have all this nonsense is I said this before, folks. I've said it numerous times that we've raised a bunch of mamby-pamby, wimpy, you can't tell them anything without hurting their feelings types of children, and now they're adults, and it's all the baby boomers' fault, and I've got the proof right here when we get back.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
So I have in my hands right here, in my currently cigar nicotine-stained fingers, the story that proves what I have been saying all along about taking it too easy on your little chillin', because they will grow up to be spoiled brats. And we see this we first started seeing this in the Occupy Wall Street movement, because, you know, the wonderful little millennials were starting to graduate college, and they weren't getting the jobs that they thought that they deserved. Yeah, I have a degree. I deserve to make 6 figures right off the bat with my degree, and you're not willing to pay me. And I'm going to sit in the middle of the street and complain, and I'm going to destroy Starbucks all over the place and say that it's your fault. I got college tuition bills to pay. Do you know how much money I spent on this useless degree? Well, and so that was the start of it. That was Occupy Wall Street was one big long parade or march and protest of a bunch of wimpy, mamby-pamby, pajama boy, pajama girl, ill-equipped kids on the cusp of adulthood, which they never really crossed over into adulthood. But here it is. This is from the San Gabriel Valley Tribune. I know it's a little out of the way, but this stuff just comes across. I am very good at programming my newsfeed, folks. This stuff just comes across like you would not believe. A former Los Altos baseball player is suing his coach after being benched. Claims his coach was bullying him by benching him. A former Los Altos high school student and baseball player is suing the school district and his former coach for hundreds of thousands of dollars because the coach repeatedly benched him. According to the suit, the school's head varsity baseball coach, Gabriel Lopez, repeatedly refused to let 17-year-old Robbie Lopez, no relation, I guess maybe that's why he's also upset. Hey, man, we share the last name, man. Can't make me play. You can't bench me. You make me play. Come on. Play throughout his senior year, the suit claims this constituted a pattern of harassment and bullying. The teenager and his parents are seeking a judgment of more than $150,000 because the coach benched the former high school senior. Again, I'm not making this crap up, folks. I mean, this is one thing. Well, it sort of fits into play. We still have the Colin Kaepernick thing, the protesting, sitting down a national anthem. Do you know what the solution to this problem is? Oh yeah, no, it's not what you think. I guarantee. Well, you're smart enough on this program, listeners on this program. Most of you probably do know what it was. Think you know what the answer is, and you're probably correct. But the answer is something that'll blow most people's minds. Oh, let's not fine people. Let's not force them to show some decorum in form of respect so they have a cohesive unit in the NFL. Oh, no. The answer, according to some sportscasters who are leftists themselves, is to not play the national anthem at sporting events. That'll fix the problem. We just don't play the national anthem. I mean, after all, it's a sporting event, and why would we want to propagandize sports by playing the national anthem? That is their reasoning. So let's not do. Okay, so I guess we don't play the national anthem anywhere. We don't say a prayer anywhere because separation of church and state, right? So you can't say a prayer. You can't play the national anthem. And if you're a coach and you bench your players for bad play, bad behavior, or anything out of the ordinary that doesn't contribute to their success in the field, now you're a bully who should be subject to lawsuits saying that you're a bully, where you're going to have to, you and your organization, be it a school district or a professional, can you imagine a professional ball player suing the coach and their organization, because, hey, that's bullying. The coach was bullying because he wouldn't play me. He benched me. I can't, I'm sorry. I'm beside myself. I just can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is just so insane. Intel report coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of french fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, We teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an A-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. It's Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 here on the Rod Eccles Show. This Hump Day, Wednesday, August number 16 in the year of our Lord 2017. 603-835-3226 is the call-in hotline number. Got to come up with a name for that line. You just can't say the caller line or call-in line. That's just so dull. That's boring. But anyway, here we are, hour number 2. And folks, as sunny as it may be outside, right? Well, at least up here in northern New England. As sunny as it may be outside and as warm as it's supposed to get today, I think it's between 80 and 85, we live in a cloudy, frigid climate. It's got to be cloudy and frigid when you can actually go to court and sue your school district and high school coach because you get benched. I don't even know why this is allowed to go through. A judge should look at this case and say, I'm benching this lawsuit. Get out of here. There's no way in hell it should even be going forward. I'm sorry. I don't care what you don't know the facts of the case, Rod. Unless the coach physically harmed and physically attacked this student, there's no way in hell that sitting somebody on the bench is bullying it. Obviously, if he's a good player, the coach is not going to bench you unless you're not paying attention and listening and doing what the coach wants you to do. That's the first. What's he going to do when he gets in the workplace? He doesn't do his job. Well, people already do that. They already sue their bosses for firing them when they're the ones at fault for not doing their job. You know, they're all constantly late or they don't finish on time, the work on time and meet deadlines. And of course, somehow, well, it's because they have some sort of disability that the boss is supposed to, by law, make special account for. Everything's a disability today. Yeah, I can't wake up in the morning, so I have tardiness syndrome. So you can't fire me. You think that some people think that that's just crazy. Well, do you know that in some states you can't fire a person because they're obese, even if their job requires them to be physically fit in order to do the job? Because obesity is now an actual disability. And you can't fire somebody simply because of their disability. I'm beyond. This has gone beyond insanity. We're way past that now. But so now it's getting to the point where a coach is not going to be able to control his team. So somebody's not going to like the way the coach coaches a team, and they're going to sue because, well, he sat me on the bench too much. Well, don't doubt me, folks. Look, you can't. I mean, why do you think you got some fat police? I'm talking about fat, roly-poly police officers. Do you know you can't? In many cases, you can't fire that cop. Now, that cop can't do his job, not to the best of his ability, because he's too damn fat. But he can't be fired. So it's already happening. This is just the next progressive step in the destruction and dismantling of Western culture and civilization, folks. That's what progressivism is, a progressive march to self-destruction. That's what it is. Any case, it is that time, and it's that Wednesday, that time on a Wednesday, where we get a full report from Agent 0010, and today he's loaded for bear, I understand. Good morning, Agent. How are you?
Good morning, Rod. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. Good to hear your voice, my friend.
Grooviness, and thank you. It's great to hear you, and great to be on the air with everybody that's listening right now.
So we've got this whole thing that's been going on with this North Korea nuclear thing, and now Iran is saying, well, you know what? If you institute these sort of what we believe to be draconian sanctions against us, we could start up our nuclear project, within less than 24 hours. Well, if you can do that, it means you didn't get rid of your nuclear program to begin with. It's not even on hold. It's just on, It's on pause. But the facts don't matter, right? So what the hell is going on with North? Now North Korea backs off, and they're blustering and bloviating about attacking Japan and Guam and all the. Oh no, we're not gonna attack Guam now, and everybody wants to give the credit not to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump was just being he's a blowhard, doesn't know what he's talking about. So they're looking for anybody to give credit to but Donald Trump. So I've even seen reports where they're actually the leftist news media is trying to give credit to Mad Dog Mattis. Well, Mad Dog Mattis is only following what his boss, the president, says.
Stop right there. Stop right there. I need to stop you right there. That is a truth. And that is an inconvenient truth. So we shall ignore that. So carry on now.
But these people, they were so scared of Donald Trump having his quote-unquote finger on the nuclear button. He was going to get us into war by talking so tough. Well, should we bring people up, historically speaking, on tough talk when it comes to people threatening the United States with nuclear power?
You know what? What many of the liberals, Democrats, left-wingers, whatever you want to call them today, or this week, or whatever they want to call themselves this week, what they seem to forget is that there's certain terminologies, a certain language, a certain rhetoric that has to be used in certain situations. Prime example, if, let's say, Rod Eccles is getting married, and the reverend or the officiating person stands there and says, and do you, Rod, take her to be your lawfully wedded wife? You're not going to stand there and go, oh, hell yeah, you damn right. And let me tell you something, when the honeymoon comes tonight, oh, yeah, it's going to happen. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that, because that is not the kind of language you should be using. But when it comes to North Korea, on the other hand, oh, yes. And you know what? Here's the hypocrisy of the left. That they turn around and they say that this kind of rhetoric is dangerous. Well, guess what? The left has used this rhetoric as well. The Democrats have used this rhetoric as well. But here's the catch. In a much more dangerous and precarious situation. And you have the soundbite of a Democrat.
I have one right here of a very well. Let's be fair now. By today's standards, he'd be an alt-right person, not a Democrat. But at the same time, JFK did say this.
Third, it shall be the policy of this nation to regard any nuclear missile launched from Cuba against any nation in the Western Hemisphere as an attack by the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response upon the Soviet Union.
Now, that was that's the Cuban Missile Crisis, as they've come to call it. And he was very clear on that. Mm-hmm. You put those missiles in Cuba, that which is only 90 miles off our Floridian coast, and you launch those at anybody in the Western Hemisphere, we're going to construe that as being an attack directly on the United States. And we're not going to retaliate just against Cuba. We're going to retaliate against the whole of the Soviet Union.
Exactly. Now,
and they heard that.
Oh, yes. Now, here's the thing. Let us put this in perspective, okay? First of all, they surrounded a sovereign island nation with warships and conducted a blockade. Then after that, they threatened to not just retaliate against Cuba, but turn the Soviet Union, which is more than just Russia. It was several nations. That's what many people don't seem to understand or forget. The Soviet Union was not just Russia. It was also the Ukraine. It was Poland, the Czechoslovakia. It was many countries.
Yes, it was called the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Yes.
Plural. So, therefore, he was talking about taking all of Eastern Europe and turning it into glass. Not a good thing. Not only that, but what they don't have a video of is during the blockade, he sent orders to the United States Navy that if any Soviet ships, not Russian, Soviet ships, try to run the blockade, fire upon it, or if you have to, sink it. Okay, that's not a good thing. Overall, that is really not a good thing. But yet, here we have the current president of the United States telling the North Korean dictator that you launch one missile at Guam, I don't give a damn if it lands or not. I don't give a damn if we blow it up in the middle of the air or middle of the sky. We're going to turn you into glass. But that's what the liberals seem to think he said. The problem is he never said he was going to use nuclear weapons. He said he was going to rain fire and fury. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen what a tomahawk does. That's pretty much raining fire and fury.
Bring the rain.
He never threatened to use nuclear weapons. He threatened to rain fire and fury upon the North Korean regime. But let's just say he did mean nuclear weapons. I got news for you. Kennedy did much worse. He was touted as a hero by both sides of the aisle. He was touted as being a great, strong, wise leader by both sides of the aisle. So does the unfairness continue? Yes. Why? Because we're rewriting history yet again.
Being a military brat, I got to tell you, what the American public doesn't know, and this is very true of the left. What the public doesn't know is that because my father, the area of the Air Force that my father was involved in, we were always located in what used to be known as SAC bases that were under the control or command of NORAD. Now, SAC was Strategic Air Command, and all the Strategic Air Command bases had one or two fighter squadrons that escorted a full squadron of B-52 bombers with nukes that could be loaded on them. We had nuclear weapons on every single base that I lived on. People don't understand that. I lived on top of a nuclear pile, if you will, growing up as a kid. If you had B-52s, you had nukes. There were many times, it just became matter of fact for me as a military brat, but there were many times throughout the 70s where we went to certain DEFCON levels where the entire base was on lockdown B-52s were in the air with nukes loaded. And there were times I didn't see my father for nearly 3 days straight. Because that's how serious stuff got numerous times. But this is when you had presidents. Now, things changed when Carter was president. We became a much weaker, wimpier nation. But let me tell you, when we had other guys as president, even Ford, Nixon and Ford, that kind of stuff that the Soviet Union tried to pull didn't fly with them. It didn't work. And if the general public only knew how many times that the military went on alert like that, it would. There's no way in hell they would ever be afraid of what Donald Trump just said. But again, they don't know this kind of stuff, and it's really documented. If somebody really wanted to find this stuff out, I mean, unless it's still classified as top secret, it's pretty documented. It's not hidden anywhere. It just takes the initiated to go find it. But rain, fire, and fury is the same thing as shock and awe. What Bush? That's what you want. You got to play an intimidation factor with your opponent. And it's the same with anything. So if you want, you got to be. The problem with shock and awe is that shock and awe was great, and then it fizzled into whimper. They should have kept the shock and awe going, and we probably wouldn't be bogged down in Afghanistan and Iraq right now if we had continued shock and awe. But the left in this country, hey, I voted for war before I voted against it, type of crap. They want to play politics with our lives, not just our military lives. They want to play politics with our lives. And it's people often wonder, we were so damn lucky to have elected Ronald Reagan, because otherwise, we elected, Jimmy Carter again, we might not be the USA today. Seriously. So you got to...
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's a simple case that, the nice thing, the appeasement politics, I call it appeasement politics, turns you into pretty much a hostage. That's all it does. You try to work things out and you turn into a hostage, and you have to negotiate under their terms, under your hostage takers' terms.
Yeah. And that's, well, I mean, do you think that now there is a report here. The report is some 4 years old, but they're trying to make it sound like that this report just became available and we just found out and it's all because of Trump. But this is a 4-year-old report that states, oh yeah, we know that Kim has some 60 plus nuclear warheads that he's been able to miniaturize already. 4 years ago. Not 3 months ago, 4 years ago. And who was president 4 years ago? Well, it was none other than Barack Hussein Obama. So he's had those for at least 4 years, at least. And now he's just trying to catch up with the rest of the technology to be able to deliver those things.
Yep.
But so we've had this stuff for 4 years, and Obama did nothing, and now it comes along that Trump says, look, you don't even... Do you... Well, obviously Trump knows about the report. He knows that they've miniaturized them. So now he's telling him, you even think about launching anything in our direction, man, because he knows that they have the ability to put those things on. If they can actually get a missile, a delivery system that's actually accurate, well, that's not a good thing.
Well, that leads me to the other report that I have, and that is, you're absolutely right. He has had these warheads for 4 years. Absolutely correct. But the delivery system is something that they've been having problems with. And according to intelligence reports and actually satellite videos or satellite imagery, they actually show these things blowing up in the air and not working well until recently. And here's why, which leads me to my next report. And that is, they have discovered how they finally got to launch or perfect the delivery system. And that's because the rockets that are used to propel these warheads, they're not from Russia. They're not from Iran. They're not from the United States, so everybody calm down. They are from the Ukraine. These rockets were used by the Soviet Union. Now, mind you, listen to my words here, ladies and gentlemen, by the Soviet Union to deliver warheads. Then Russia said, oh, well, we need bigger ones. So, yeah, your rockets are obsolete. So this Ukrainian factory turns around, and when they hear, oh, North Korea is doing what? It's all over the news? Hell yeah. They decide to negotiate with the North Korean government, and they sold them the rocket engines for the delivery system. So here's a name that you've heard me. Rod, you have heard me. Your listeners have heard me many, many times bring up the name Ukraine. You have heard me repeat it over and over again, because now we have a situation where an expert, literally a rocket scientist, saw the video. A gentleman by the name of Michael Ellerman, who is a missile expert at the International Institute for Strategic Studies. When UN decided, oh, I'm going to show off, we're going to send a video all over the world to show how wonderful we are, how far we've advanced. Well, Mr. Ellerman took one look at the rockets and he's like, why do those look familiar? Come to find out, like I said, these are Ukrainian rocket engines that they have sold to the North Koreans. And everybody's sitting there wondering, how did they go from their rockets blowing up in the middle of the night sky to all of a sudden being intercontinental capable? How did that happen overnight? There is your answer. The Ukrainian factories sold them to the North Koreans. Because obviously, I guess in the Ukraine, there are no restrictions like they have in other countries for a company selling anything that can be easily converted into a weapon to a nation that is a threat to the world.
I guess they're still mad at us. Hold on, Agent 010. We got to go to our breaks, and we'll be back, folks. Hold on. Got a lot more to cover. Trust me.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
The one thing that you have to understand about all of this mess is that power and force only responds to power and force. It doesn't respond to, let's play nicey, use our easy bake ovens. Force is met with force. You fight fire with fire. And this is what good presidents have done, and this is what Donald Trump has been doing with the Norks. You can't play nice. We've already tried playing nice. They don't know how to play nice. Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Our intel report with Agent 0010 as we're talking about North Korea and nuclear weapons and delivery systems and rockets coming from Ukraine. And the reality is that Ukraine has stepped up a number of different things that we might be construed as being anti-American, but the reality is, I think because of Obama, Ukraine is in Obama's lack of helping and running to the defense of Ukraine as the United States had promised. He pissed off a lot of Ukrainians, and they're still kind of mad at us. So a lot of this stuff was in the works when Trump was elected. Now, hopefully that stuff will reverse itself. But is that all this cooperation that the Norks and the Iranians may be getting from others that we might construe as being our allies? Now remember, folks, allies aren't necessarily, you can call them frenemies in some cases, because if we remember correctly, going back to Saddam Hussein and Iraq, who was still doing business with Saddam, as George H.W. Bush called him, when there were these blockades and sanctions? Well, it was France. I thought France was our friend. So obviously there are times when we piss off our friends and they retaliate the only way they can. That's by helping our enemy. Is that what we got going on in Ukraine?
For the most part, yeah. Yeah, these people are very angry. Well, you know what? It's not even... Their economy is not what you might call the best in the world. So, of course, this factory, they decided, well, we're going to make a couple of bucks. But my question is, and this is what I'm trying to find out, did the Ukrainian government itself know that the factory was about to sell these engines to the North Koreans? Because here in the United States and in other countries around the world, governments regulate, like I was saying before, they regulate anything that can be taken and used as a weapon or a weapon of mass destruction or something that can be used to harm innocent people. Those things are regulated and not to be sold to other nations such as Iran, such as North Korea. You know, so did the Ukrainian government actually know that these engines were being sold to North Korea? Now, for people to understand, these engines, these rockets, because that's exactly what they are, rockets, they are strong enough, powerful enough to actually launch in one missile 10 thermonuclear warheads. Now, warheads are basically the cones that go inside the top of the missile. These little cones, and they're set up to actually, each one of them, split an atom. So 10 atoms being detonated simultaneously is what this rocket can launch. And I'm trying to find this out. I'm digging, I'm looking, and I've come up with nothing so far. So far, it seems that no, the Ukrainian government did not know or give the blessing for these rockets to be sold. Now, speaking of the Ukraine, a couple of years ago, there was, I think a little over a year ago, there was a virus attack that spread through most of Europe. And this virus was called NotPetya. NotPetya. And it was a malware program, and it spread throughout just about all of Europe, England, everybody. And the quote-unquote experts said, oh, my God, we've tracked it. It's from Russia. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, the Russians did that. Okay. No, they didn't. And here's why. Because the person who created that malware program was arrested in the Ukraine. And he happens to be Ukrainian. What a coincidence. Who would have figured if he was arrested in the Ukraine? Chances are pretty good he would have been Ukrainian. But he was arrested, and like I said, everybody was running around saying that, oh my God, we traced it back and it's from Russia. The Russians did it. This shows proof that the Russians are not just hacking into our elections, but they're also hacking into our corporations. They're trying to shut down all these companies. Obli-di, obla, blah, 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 blah. Well, why is this significant to the American people? Very simple. Julian Assange said that the hack program or the malware that was found in certain computers of prominent Democrats originated from the Ukraine, when everybody was running around saying that it was the Russians. And he said, no, this program was originated from the Ukraine, and it was written in Ukrainian. And honestly, I defy anybody who is not a linguist. If you are not a linguist, I can show you two samples, one of Russian writing and the other one of Ukrainian writing, and I dare you to tell the difference. I defy you. As long as you're not a linguist, I want you to try to tell me which is which, because they are that similar. These two cultures have been intermixed for centuries, for so long that their writing is almost the same. Now, this shows that, first of all, Julian Assange is saying that these programs that were used came from the Ukraine, not from Russia. This program that had everybody convinced that was Russian is really Ukrainian, and the Ukrainians knew about it, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have gone looking for this guy and arrested him. So somebody knew that it was not Russian. Somebody somewhere in the American government and the European governments knew it was not Russian. So to come up with the lie that the Russians embedded a program in a prominent DNC official's computer, and for him to say it's definitely Russian without the FBI investigating it, or the FBI having zero access to that computer, is definitive proof that this whole thing is just concocted, and there are 4 Eastern European countries involved in this that are not Russia. That somebody somewhere in this country had great help from Ukrainians. Now, you could sit there and tell me, oh, this is just one incident. No, I have been on this program several times, and I have given many examples of Ukrainian interference, such as Mr. Steele going to the Ukraine and supposedly speaking with a Russian, saying, oh, yeah, and he told me that he spoke to this member of the Trump campaign. Now, the member of the Trump campaign is sitting there going, I had no part of that. Oh, yeah, you're right. It was another guy with your name that was in the Ukraine at the time. Well, why did you go to the Ukraine to speak to a Russian? And was the guy even actually Russian is my question. So there have been several examples, and that's just another example of what I'm saying, of Ukrainian meddling and involvement in the United States and the world's affairs. Now, do I blame the Ukraine if they were actually deeply involved in our election? No, I really don't. It's called karma. Brexit, Israel, Libya, Macedonia. Because this is surprising to some people, President Barack Obama sent millions of dollars to actually influence a Macedonian election. And part of that packet also involved printing Saul Alinsky's book. Oh, yes. They were going to use that as a game plan to turn the Macedonian government socialist, or as we call them in the United States, Democrats. So, yeah, that's a shocker. People didn't know about that because the media didn't report on that, along with other things, such as, get ready for this. Here's another thing the media hasn't reported on. The media has been slamming the president about his foreign policies. Oh, he doesn't know anything about foreign policy. Oh, he's this, he's that, he's the other thing. Oh, my God, he's just a buffoon. He's a bull in a China factory. Guess what? He knows a little bit more about foreign policy than people seem to realize. Here's what I'm saying. Rod, do you remember when I have spoken about the situation that's going on in the Middle East between the Yemen, Qatar, Iran, and Saudi Arabia and other nations in that region?
Yes, yes. There is a split there, which is why they're fighting each other now, as they always have.
Yeah, well, yeah, nothing new. But for those that don't remember or weren't listening at the time, the Yemenese government was overthrown by a terrorist organization. They conducted a coup. They overthrew the legitimate Yemenese government. With that happening, all of a sudden, now you have, oh, by the way, with support from Iran. Go figure, not a big surprise. The Iranian government supported this coup. Then you have the Saudi government decide we're going to start doing bombing runs so we can actually put the proper Yemenese government into place. Qatar turns around and says, well, guess what? We're on Iran's side on this one because we think that they're right. Now, as Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, he decided, well, you know what? I agree with Qatar. He got taken out of the lineup to be the next king of Saudi Arabia, and the current king of Saudi Arabia put his son in that position. So there are many other countries that are involved in this. The United Arab Emirates, Egypt, many other Middle Eastern countries and North African countries are involved in this situation. So here we have the potential for World War III hanging on the brink. So what does President Trump do that the media has not reported yet? He sent a member of the State Department. He had his Secretary of State send a mediator into the region to negotiate a ceasefire and a calming down of the situation. Surprise. Why doesn't the American people know about this? For the simple fact is that the media has not reported on this. Here he is trying to create a peaceful resolution, which goes ignored because now they're hammering on people's heads that North Korea is being bullied by the president. The people pointing a gun at our heads are not the bullies, but the president is, because he doesn't understand how foreign policy works, how to dictate in foreign policy. Well, this report obviously debunks that, because in all actuality, ladies and gentlemen, this could actually lead to World War III. How do you say? Well, let's not forget, you have all these countries going at it, and most of them are oil-producing nations. And right next to each other, they're neighbors with other countries that are not what you might call sympathetic to Western ways, such as Libya, for example, another country that was another leadership or administration that was overthrown by the Obama administration with help of Hillary Clinton. So Egypt is siding with Saudi Arabia. Libya says, well, we're siding with Iran. So guess what? Now we're going to teach you a lesson, because now we're going to declare war on you, as Saudi Arabia has declared war on Yemen. Now, many people may think, well, you might be reaching on that. Really? Okay, what was World War I? World War II. Korea. Vietnam. Gulf War. This is not me overreaching. This is me saying history can and will easily repeat itself. That's what I'm saying. So this situation right now, ignored by the media, showing President Trump actually conducting positive, foreign policy is being completely ignored. But in the meantime, they're calling him a racist. But on the other hand, by them ignoring this and showing that Saudi Arabia is actually fighting terrorism against a group that was supported by Iran that took over a country, by them ignoring Saudi Arabia, in a way, that's racist itself, because the American people are not hearing about Saudi Arabia fighting terrorism. And now this is putting into the American mind the thought that Saudi Arabia supports terrorism, when in all actuality, they're fighting terrorism. But yet we don't know about it because the American mainstream media is ignoring it. So now
there's somebody who just who where was I saw it that they wanted to call the mainstream media in this country a terrorist organization.
I agree with them in a way.
I was kind of I didn't invent that term, but I also in a way also agree with it. But I wish I would have thought of it first, but I didn't. So, and I can't remember where I saw that, but so I want to give credit where credit is due. But all of this, folks, I mean, you have to understand that the Middle East, ever since oil was discovered there, has been a tinderbox. Now, before oil, it was a bunch of sand dunes and backwater tribes and trying to be pulled together as countries, and there were intertribal wars and country wars, and it was a mess there anyway. But it was worthless desert. Nobody cared, except for the occasional strategic positioning of some of the countries, like during World War II. Libya was a strategic place, and Egypt was strategic, and so was Israel. But most of the rest of it was ignored by the rest of the world until oil was discovered everywhere. And bunches of countries that didn't have an abundance of their own reserves, or they were running out of their abundant reserves that they could get to at that particular point in time, turned to the Middle East to get that oil. And that's how we got everybody from all around the world, everybody interested. You had the Allies, you had the new Axis, you had China was even interested. China ever hoped to ever come out of its doldrums of being a third world country. It needed energy too, and they went into the Middle East and got the oil. So everybody's there. Everybody has their own self-interest in mind when it comes to the Middle East. So if everybody starts taking sides, well, Russia's taking the side of Syria's Assad and Iran. United States, well, we take the side of Saudi Arabia and Israel. And China, believe it or not, is making huge inroads with Egypt. So what are we supposed to do? What is Trump supposed to do? Why aren't they reporting this? Because this is too damn important not to pay attention to, because all the superpowers are there. All the secondary powers are there, and everybody's meddling in everybody else's business, and it's creating something that is already a tinderbox into a bigger tinderbox. And yet they want to say that Trump's a racist instead, and spend all 21 minutes of their airtime on how badly he did a press conference because of a bunch of leftists are running around Charlottesville, Virginia, tearing the place up. Really? Have we lost our minds that much?
Honestly, I mean, can I give my take on the tearing down of the statues?
Yes, please do.
My take is this. Am I a racist? I like to think I'm not. I'm not going to sit here and definitively say I'm not. But I like to think of myself as not being a racist, and I've never been called a racist in my life. So I'm pretty sure I'm not one. So therefore, you turn around and you take a look at these statues. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we don't walk around with history books in our hands. We don't do that all the time. These statues, to me, are bookmarkers. If I handed Rod Eccles right now a book and I told him, turn to the 5th chapter in this book, don't look for it, just turn right to it. He can't do that. These statues are bookmarkers of one of the darkest moments in American history, which is called slavery. Then came the war to end the slavery. A war that was led by a man who happens to be, a Republican, but the war started. And the right side won that war. But these statues are up to remind us of what not to do again. And that is not going back to war, but that is for human rights, to defend and fight for human rights. That person on that statue lost. So let's make more statues to more losers to prove that the more you stand up against human decency and human rights, the more you're going to lose. That's what those are. So to look up at a statue of a Confederate soldier who lost the war, guess what? That's a bookmark. That is to tell us there's going to be more people like you, which are called losers on the wrong side. That's what these statues should be looked at. Because let's not forget, 85 to 90% of the men that fought on the Confederate side did not own slaves. They couldn't afford slaves. They just didn't want big government telling them what to do. They wanted their own government telling them what to do, which was kind of strange because they didn't want some Yankee from the North bossing them around, but they wanted a Southerner to boss them around.
Yeah,
but,
I guess everybody has their preference of who should rule. I've weighed in on this this statue issue. Look, they were put up by a bunch of Democrats to begin with. Yes, it is like you say, it's bookmarks to American history, to a dark chapter in our history. And what the Democrats are doing, because they're the ones that put them up, they're now trying to take them down to erase that history so they can whitewash it and rewrite it and say, look, it was they're already saying that Nazis are right-wingers. Hello, folks. Historically speaking, they've always been leftists. When did Nazis become rightist? I don't know. But anyway.
The only part of that entire thing the only part I actually do agree with is big government. That's the only thing I agree with. Other than that, I believe and agree with nothing that the Confederates stood for. Now, with that being said, Rod, you have a great day, and I will talk to you next week. And everybody, thank you for putting up with me. Sorry for being so long.
Dad, that's quite all right. It was needed. Thank you, my friend. Stay safe out there. We'll be back, folks.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message. A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We got a lot more to cover, but only an hour left to do it. It's going to be fast and furious, most likely. So grab your pens, your papers, your cup of coffee, and come on back right after the break.
a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along?
Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back?
Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer?
With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95.
I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. they pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. Hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. The fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here. Here it is, hour number 3, Wednesday, Hump Day, August number 16 in the year of our Lord 2017. The call-in number is still 603-835-3226. You can utilize that at any time that we are live here on the program. Here's a story I have for you about the national anthem problem. There is and this is from Hot Air, Yahoo Sports columnist proposes an innovative solution to the national anthem protest problem. Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a problem if these people just stood to respect the national anthem, as is tradition in history. But yeah, now you can't dismiss it right off the bat. He makes some good points here. The columnist, Yahoo Sports columnist Dan Wetzel, Wetzel, he does make some good points here. Now, he says that why don't you just stop playing that stupid national anthem before the games? Now, of course, he had to put the stupid in there, but why don't you just stop playing the national anthem before the games? Problem is solved, right? And here's his deductive reasoning, and he's not completely off base with this. This is why it makes it a little bit more interesting, which is also why it is going. I guarantee you, it is going to be seriously considered. He writes, it's all about the anthem, which begs a different question that has nothing to do with constitutional rights of some players to stand or not to stand, let alone the capitalistic right of some fans to stop supporting them or supporting them even more because of it. So why play the anthem at all? Ostensibly, it is patriotic. For many people, though, it isn't. And not just for the ones protesting. He says, Dan Wetzel, he writes, Scan the crowd during the anthem at any sporting event, and you'll see people talking to each other or on their cell phones, looking at their phones, eating, drinking, or scooting off to the bathroom. Or in other words, just not even paying attention to the anthem at all. So how many of them are standing only out of social pressure? He had to push it and go there. I know. In some stadiums, they sing along. In others, recording artists get to use the moment in an effort to market and promote themselves. In others, the crowd playfully highlights certain words like, oh, or they shout out, oh, say does that Star-Spangled Banner. Or they yell, red, if that corresponds with the team colors. Or blue, same thing. So he does make some good points. Are we as a nation, are we the people, are we a little bit to blame for this? But I thought it was supposed to be reversed, however. You see, all those very wealthy people down there on the playing fields or the courts are supposed to be the best and the brightest in their field. They're supposed to put forth good karma and set an example for the rest of us to follow. So if you have people who aren't paying attention, who are on their cell phones or eating their hot dog or sitting down or running off to the bathroom during the national anthem, do you think maybe you're going to get more of those people because they see their idols, their heroes, sitting down during the national anthem, or holding up their fist in protest, or kneeling on their helmets? Well, yeah, you're going to get more disrespect for the nation via the anthem than less. You know, whether or not you like it, you know, and this goes directly to people who've said this, like Charles Barkley and LeBron James. If you're in the sports world, if you're in any entertainment area at all, which includes professional sports, like it or not, you are a role model and an idol. And the big thing is that you know this going into it. You say, well, you know, I play the game because I love it, but you get all this money, and you're only going to get the money if you become famous, and you only get famous because, well, you have to be good in order to get famous. But the fame and fortune comes along with the thing that you chose to do. And I guarantee you that 90% of you, if you could not make millions of dollars on these lucrative contracts, you would not be playing the sport that you're playing. You'd be off doing something else. So you are all about the fame and the fortune and not about the love of the game. The love of the game has long since gone for most players, professional players, in just about any professional sport that has a huge audience and big dollars surrounding it. I mean, this is just the absolute truth. There's no denying it. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be demanding the millions and millions of dollars that you do. Now, sure, there are some people that would still play the game for the love of the sport and for the competition. I mean, let's face it. I'm pretty sure that Tom Brady would still be the competitor that he is if he wasn't making millions of dollars. Although I don't think he'd be putting himself through whatever he puts himself through to keep his 40-year-old body looking and acting and functioning like a 25-year-old. But he does, and he has the millions of dollars to be able to do it. But by that same token, these guys put themselves out there as being idols, as being role models, because they not only make money off of them playing on the field, but off the field as well when they start hawking products and services for other companies. You know you're a role model because otherwise you are an influencer. As that's what a role model is they're an influencer. So if you know that you are an influencer, in other words, hey, you know, Nike, why don't you pay me $10 or $10 million a year to hawk your shoes in TV commercials. Because Nike knows, and you, the player, knows that you can convince, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, of impressionable people, to buy the product because you say go out and buy it. So don't give me this BS, LeBron James, that you're not a role model. You know you are, because if you weren't, you wouldn't endorse a single product. You just go out onto the court, play basketball, and go home. But you don't. Therefore, since you are a role model, you're supposed to stand up for what is good and true in the country that you're in, which happens to be the United States of America. And as a role model, you are to show respect for that country and thus show young people, hey, I respect the United States of America because it's given me the opportunity to make millions of dollars for playing a stupid game. It's bad to sit down. It's irresponsible and disrespectful to sit down or kneel during the national anthem. We're supposed to be standing and paying attention and giving respect to that national anthem because it gives respect to the country and the men and women who fought to make this country what it is today, that allows you to sit up there in the stands and eat a hot dog and watch me down here making millions of dollars playing a sport. So don't give me this crap that you're not a role model. You step onto that field or that court, you automatically become one, and you know it. So the notion that we should not just, to solve the problem, not play the national anthem, I've got a more simplistic answer for you. Since all those players down there on the field or on those courts are role models, how about they just start acting like it? Because obviously they're doing it for other products and services that they're selling, and they're doing it for themselves to enrich themselves. But when it comes to actually doing something that is good and right and enriching the whole of the community of the United States, they don't want any part of that? How about they just start acting like role models? The role models that they are, that they intended to be, and that people expect them to be. And maybe if we had more of these superstars on the fields and courts of sports that stood up instead of sat down and made a big deal of people who disrespected the flag and the anthem, maybe you'd have fewer people in the stands sitting down, looking at their phones, eating a hot dog, or running off to the bathroom. Just a thought. Now on to this John Duarte trial. John Duarte, D-U-A-R-T-E. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I have never heard his name pronounced, his last name. So I hope I'm pronouncing Duarte or Duarte. I'm not sure. It's irrelevant. You know who it is. His trial is starting, and you should be paying attention. This is something that Donald J. Trump, current president of these United States, should be paying attention to and making sure that this does not happen again. Now, the John Duarte case first surfaced back in May nationally, and in case you missed it, I think I mentioned it on this program too. The EPA run amok is basically what this is under the Obama administration. Well, John Duarte is a California farmer who was being fined millions of dollars in the battle with the Army Corps of Engineers over alleged damage caused to waters of the United States under the Clean Water Act. This is just unbelievable. Now, by this description, you might think that he's dumping heavy metals, or he might be polluting, rivers or streams or lakes or waterways near his farm with runoff, purposeful runoff and manure or what have you. But he's not. But the EPA said that he was. But he's not doing that. What Duarte had been doing, after all, was plowing his field and planting wheat. Yeah, that's what he was doing. The field in question is located in a place where pools of standing water sometimes form during the wet season. Usually spring. But they later dry up. But under the loose definitions cooked up during the Obama administration qualify as waters of the United States. And in order to disturb those waters of the United States, the mud puddles. Basically, that's what it is. In order for Duarte to disturb the mud puddles that happen every spring, he would need to apply for a permit which would run him roughly $250,000. Having not done so, Uncle Sam under the Obama administration would now like Duarte to pony up more than $15 million. All for plowing his field. Because the EPA has decided that every single fracking little mud puddle on your private property is now a part of the waters of the United States, which comes under scrutiny and protection of the EPA. And if you want to do anything to that little puddle, which will dry up tomorrow as soon as the rain stops, well, you've got to apply for a permit, and the permit will say that you'll have to do certain things to offset the damage that you're doing to America's water system, which will run, even on the smallest project, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. Technically, if you have a little puddle every spring in your backyard, you want to put a garden there, well, guess what? You've got to get a permit from the EPA to do so. And you've got to pay to offset the damage that you're going to do from disturbing that little puddle. I kid you not. That's what this is all about, folks. When we get back, I'll tell you more.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement,
But now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
603-835-3226. Now, folks, you got to understand how ridiculous this whole thing is. And he's not the only one out there fighting Obama administration era EPA rules and regulations. But here's the story from the Daily Caller. This is how ridiculous this is. John Duarte and the Army Corps of Engineers will face off in court beginning today, 4 years after the federal government fined Duarte millions for deep ripping shallow pools of water on his land. Now, Duarte has refused to pay a penalty of $2.8 million, as well as purchase another $13 million in mitigation credits to compensate for polluting the pools protected as waters of the U.S. under the Clean Water Act, according to the Weekly Standard. The dispute between Duarte and the Army Corps of Engineers rests on the definition of normal farming practices, which is supposed to be exempted from needing a permit under the Clean Water Act. So this guy, I guess, plowing a field, according to the Army Corps of Engineers under the Clean Waters Act and the EPA under Obama, plowing is not a normal farming practice. What are they just supposed to do? Just supposed to scatter the seed out there and whatever grows, grows? Now, in addition to distorting the meaning of the waters of the United States beyond any reasonable definition, this case is also challenging the use of the phrase normal farming practices. The act of plowing a field, according to the current definition trying to be espoused by the Army Corps of Engineers under the EPA under Obama regulations, is that plowing a field is not a normal farming practice. In the eyes of liberal government, plowing is not considered a normal farming practice. Are you folks hearing this? Now, Duarte's lawyer is trying to get the fine dropped to $1 rather than the figure in the millions, since Duarte was already found guilty, but that won't matter anyway because he's going to appeal it as soon as this is over. So in the meantime, this farmer has got to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend himself from a far-reaching, overreaching, idiotic government regulation that should never have become a regulation in the first place. It is unconstitutional and an illegal regulation. You do not get to control somebody else's property in such a manner without just compensation. That's in the Constitution. But these jackasses want to say, oh, during the rainy season, you have small little puddles all over your property. You're going to need to mitigate that if you want to plow it. Well, how about I just waiting for it? Do you know why there's puddles on my field in the first place? There's puddles here because I do plow it. Because I farm the damn land. That's why puddles are forming. I don't even know how he lost this, to tell you the truth. This is beyond damn idiotic. But this just goes to show when you have government, the Obama administration, all the Obamas and the Clintons and the Democrat Party want to do is just control your everyday life. And if people do not believe this, they even want to control how you eat. They want to control what you eat. They do not want to leave you with the freedom to decide anything within your life. They want to tell you, they probably want to tell you when to go to bed and when to wake up. Why not? They want to tell you what to drive. They want to tell you what to drink. And if you drink the wrong stuff, they want to tax the hell out of that product so you don't buy it. And if you want to dig up your own little plot of earth in your own backyard, they want you to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to mitigate some made-up, trumped-up problems that you're creating with your own garden. And farmers, only in a liberal mindset, who don't work at all, who've never put in probably never put in a day of physical labor in their life, would construe plowing a field as a non-normal, traditional act of farming. Folks, I mean, I don't know how many times I got to say this. I just can't make this stuff up. I can't.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing
that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
Very important question here. Now, considering that we have farms all over this country, that's why we call it the fruited plain. Exactly how did the Army Corps of Engineers and the EPA know that this guy was plowing up little puddles on his property? How did they know this? I mean, and if these puddles only happen and form during basically the spring, the wet season, how do they know that? Are they running around trespassing on people's property all the time to see what they're doing? No, I'm sorry, folks. No, government does not have the right to come onto your. If you ask a government agent to leave, unless there is a crime or they suspect a crime happening, they must vacate your property. They have no right to stay there unless they have a warrant. It's called trespass. Frankly, if somebody, it doesn't matter if it doesn't. Now I got to be careful how I say this. But trespassing is trespassing no matter who's doing the trespassing. And it doesn't matter if you have any form of badge at all. If you are somewhere you're not allowed to be, the property owner has the right, every right, to protect himself and his property. And we've had many cases throughout the history of this country where that has been held up. So what are they doing? Are they using satellite imagery to spy on us? I thought they weren't using this stuff on us. Isn't that what they said? Well, no, we're not going to use this stuff on Americans. Well, in order for them to find out this stuff, they've got to be using some sort of imagery, either put human eyeballs on the property at the proper time, or they're using satellite imagery or some sort of drone type of imagery in order at the proper time in order to catch them doing this stuff. Look, it rained yesterday. You know, we got like 5 inches of rain, and there are little bitty puddles down there on his property. That's Waters of the USA. So the next day the guy's ready to go out and plant his wheat, so he plows it under, and they're still got eyeballs on him to see. They set this guy up for some reason, as they're setting all of us up for whatever they want. I mean, seriously. How else do you know that some guy is plowing under or plowing over little itty-bitty puddles of water that only happen when it rains too much. Well, Rod, what if he was plowing up a little brook or stream that only happens when it rains? He's not plowing a brook or a stream. They're talking about little puddles that never would have existed if he never plowed the damn field in the first place. I mean, this is beyond frustrating. By the way, when it comes to, well, I mean, I don't know. What are they going to do or say when? Well, I'm not gonna go in that direction. Here, ESPN, to go along with all this wonderful Black Lives Matter and Confederate statue destruction, ESPN is now being criticized for fantasy football auction. I am waiting for somebody to say that the whole, sports draft, whether it be NBA, NFL, hockey, baseball, but the big one is the big two that people follow and watch on TV are really the NFL and the NBA. NFL drafts, the NBA draft. I'm waiting for them to say that this is racism, because they're starting to do this now with ESPN. ESPN is criticized for fantasy football auction. Yeah. Auction drafts are common. However, ESPN2's approach to auctioning players as part of its fantasy sports marathon Monday night drew criticism from some on social media who said it resembled a slave auction. You had a white guy standing at a podium with a gavel, just like you do at a regular auction when you're auctioning off, stuff. That's what this guy, except he didn't do the fast talking though. I can't talk like an auctioneer. That's a practice and learned and rehearsed skill. I won't even attempt to do it. I'll sound like a fool. So this guy is up there doing this thing, but this auction gavel thing, and it's for it's for a fantasy sports league. And you've got some people on the left who are saying, "Hey, man, that looks like a slave auction." Is there anybody alive today that ever participated in a slave auction? Do we have video of it? I'm just wondering, because how do they know what actually happened at these? Yeah, we have historical documentation of it, but do we have the actual visuals of how these things took place? So this guy, if it were a black ESPN guy up there, it'd be okay. But he's a white guy, white privilege type of crap again, And ESPN is finding themselves in the middle of a brouhaha, and let's face it, ESPN has gotten to be so liberal that they're shocked. They're shell-shocked that they're being criticized for this. Because they're saying it's a freaking game. I happen to agree. It's just a stupid game. Now, I don't play fantasy football because I would actually suck at it. And I know you can. There are some of these fantasy football leagues where you can play for free, but I don't have time to do that. I mean, these people that play these games, they know their stuff. I in no way know my stuff like that. I could not. If I played the ones where you paid money into so you could try to win some, I'd lose my shirt. I suck at that stuff. I wouldn't even know who to quote unquote buy to put on my fantasy football team. I mean, out of the normal, the big stars, and everybody can't have the same big stars in their team. I wouldn't know how to fill out my roster for lesser positions and less famous positions. I'm not good at that stuff. I don't know stats in and out for any sport. I've never followed any sport that closely. I love watching football. I do. Although the enjoyment has waned tremendously over the years. And that's simply because of their stupid leftist political activism. It really ticked me off when they were really trying to force the Redskins to change their name. I mean, you got to be kidding me. But we're not going to rehash that old thing again. But I've watched a lot less football because of a lot. And when the NFL went on strike, I watched even live. The one place I want there not to be politics is in my sports. If I'm going to turn on the damn television set or spend $30, $40, $60, $100 on a damn ticket to see a bunch of millionaires running around on a field or court down there, I don't want politics injected into it. I just want to be entertained. And they're now, the left is now taking pure enjoyment and entertainment out of it. Well, it's not just sports, by the way. I got another story here. Not just sports that they're doing this on. But since I brought it up, where is it? The box office. Movies have become increasingly political statements, either overtly or covertly. And the North American crowd, that includes Canada, U.S. and Canada, they're picking up on this, and they're not liking it. Movie box office is on track for lowest in 25 years as the Spielberg-Lucas warning of blockbuster implosion omen prevails. We got all these so-called stars that run around that command, $20, $25, $30, $50 million to make a movie. And then they're causing movie budgets to be well north of the $100 million. It costs $150 million to make a movie today. I mean, this is ridiculous. Even an animated feature. How can it cost so much to draw a bunch of pictures? Well, there's a lot of, the talent. Stars are the voices, and that's where a lot of the money goes. They got to pay these people millions of dollars just to do a cartoon movie that usually runs less than 90 minutes. I mean, it's the greatest racket on the planet to be an actor today, to be an A and B lister actor. That's the greatest racket you could to possibly get in. But here they are, and they don't even care if the movie makes any money. And it doesn't matter if the movie doesn't make money, because they come back and they still demand huge salaries and often get them. I mean, there have been some big bombs. There have been some bright spots like Dunkirk, I guess, and Baby Driver. Remember Baby Driver? This, baby-faced kid is running a race car. I didn't see it. I didn't really care for it. I thought it looked dumb. But evidently that was a hit. But there were complete and total write-offs as big box office failures like The Dark Tower and King Arthur. You remember those? Nut Job 2 was one of the biggest losers ever. It was in more than 4,000 theaters and made only $8 million the past week. Nut Job 2, huge failure. Nobody wants to see these quasi-political movies as being veiled as entertainment. We get it. It's not. They suck. The actors suck. The scripts suck. The plots suck. And we're not going to spend $15 or $20 per ticket and then another $30 on popcorn and soda to be duped like this anymore. Hell, we'll just wait for it to come on DVD and rent it on Redbox for like $1.50 a night. Or wait for it to come on Hulu or Netflix or HBO. It's far cheaper to do that. Unbelievable. We're supposed to plunk down all this money for things like I guess 4 years ago at a USC symposium, famed and acclaimed and very successful directors George Lucas and Steven Spielberg warned the film industry that reliance on blockbusters, these so-called tentpole movies, that failed would cause an implosion. And of course, nobody took them seriously at the time, but now they may be taking them seriously because big blockbuster movies such as the science fiction movie Life Monster Trucks, Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson, Will Ferrell's The House. I don't even remember that being advertised, The House. And Sony's Rough Night have been thusly complete total write-offs. Other flops like Baywatch and Chips and The Circle and The Promise. It lost hundreds of millions. Pirates of the Caribbean, 5. A Bomb at the Do you think Johnny Depp's cred is going to be hurt when it comes time for him to do his next movie? He's still going to be getting, $30 million a film. But nobody wants to see this crap anymore. And there is some evidence that we're tired of the superhero genre. Evidently, the Justice League movie is in trouble and is going through massive reshoots and recutting, re-editing. I don't, but hey. They're trying to make political statements in our entertainment and in our sports, and people are sick and tired of it. I mean, stadium attendance at football games is down, way down. I mean, if you look at the sports where they're really not trying to make political statements like baseball, they're not really being affected too much by downturns. But football is huge. Why do you think they're trying to go overseas so much with playing these games? Because people in the USA are turning off the TV and not going to the stadiums. That's why. And it's nobody else's fault but the entertainment industry's fault. Stop trying to politicize everything and throwing it in our face. We just want to be entertained.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong, and any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hayride.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
There has been action and movement in the case in the recent Civil War monument destruction. Durham Sheriff, and this is from the HeraldSun.com. Durham County Sheriff arrests the ladder climber in the Confederate statue destruction. North Carolina, the protester who climbed a ladder to help bring down a Confederate soldier statue was arrested earlier today, and Sheriff Mike Andrews said his office will pursue felony charges against others as well. He said, "Let me be clear, no one is getting away with what happened." Now, Takia Thompson, a member of Workers' World Party, anything that has workers in it is a communist faction. Van Jones would be so proud. She's a member of Workers' World Party and a student at North Carolina Central University. She was arrested after activists held a press conference at NCCU Tuesday afternoon. Or she was arrested yesterday afternoon, I should say. In a release, Thompson said she was the one who tied a rope around the soldier's neck so others could pull the statue to the ground. The protest left the Confederate soldiers' monument dedicated on May 10th, 1924, headless on the grass. Thompson was charged with participation in a riot with property damage in excess of $1,500, a Class H felony, and inciting others to riot where the property damage is in excess of $1,500, a Class F felony. I didn't know there were so many levels of felonies. That's actually kind of ridiculous, but okay. She was also charged with disorderly conduct by injury to a statue and damage to real property, both misdemeanors. But she's not going to end up in jail. She could end up in jail, but she probably won't. Just a lot of community service, which means probably taking down more statues. Now, what she failed to understand and realize is that all she had to do was wait. Because they keep taking down these Confederate statues and monuments all over the South anyway. The city governments and municipalities and states are taking them down. All she had to do was wait. And even in D.C., anything that's Confederate related in D.C. is not safe. Black lawmakers say Confederate statues should come down and go out of the Capitol. Members of the Congressional Black Caucus are reviving calls to remove Confederate statues from the Capitol following the violence at a white nationalist rally in Virginia. Well, the violence that the left caused, not the right. So, we might as well let the leftists who put the damn statues up in the first place, let their ancestors take them down, I guess, their posterity. Go ahead. You're not going to be able to erase the history of the fact that you guys were the ones that started slavery, fought to keep slavery, and then put monuments up to express your desire for slavery's return, since that's what you're saying that all these monuments are for. Well, you're the people that wanted them back. And there's no denying it. In your actions and in your words, this is basically what you're saying. You want slavery, but maybe not just of one race, but you want slavery of everybody who doesn't think like you. You want them arrested. You want them beaten. You want them possibly killed. You want everything that they've earned taken away from them. Well, that's fascism and good old-fashioned slavery. Dictating how a person lives. Yeah, whatever. In any case, that's all the time we got for today. Tomorrow we do have Military Thursday, Tribute Thursday, so be here for that. Until then, have a wonderful Wednesday hump day afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Oppo file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.